Amen. So, in the last two presentations,
I don't have audio.
we've been looking at our reform line and the structure,
I don't have audio.
and then the fractal of the priests. So we have the structure starting with 1989. Then we have 9/11, the Sunday law. We have the close of probation, and then the second coming. And we said the fractal, the priests, we marked, I think, in blue. It's also 1989.
Máme tu technický
9/11.
problém, takže budete chvíľku bez prekladu.
Sunday law we know to be 2014. Close of probation 2019. November 9. And then we mark this as Panium 2021.
2021.
We're at the Millerite time.
Sme v čase Milleritov.
We have 1789.
1798.
We looked at especially the development of the midnight cry.
Vývoj polnočného volania.
We have April 19th.
19. apríl.
July 21.
21. júl.
August 1.
1. august.
August 15.
15. august.
As the midnight cry.
Ako polnočné volanie. 22. október.
I'm not going to put this one here.
Toto sem nejdem dávať.
Because our focus is the loud cry.
Naše zameranie je hlasné volanie.
The latter rain.
Neskorý dážď.
Which is between the Sunday law and the close of probation.
Čo je medzi nedeľným zákonom a záverom milosti.
And what is one of the characteristics of the loud cry?
Aké sú vlastnosti hlasného volania?
What have we been learning?
Čo sme sa učili?
It's a doubling.
Je to
How
zdvojenie.
about it's swelling, right?
A potom to
So
rastie.
we can mark a swelling like this.
Takže ten rast môžeme zaznačiť sem.
And then here
A
we
tu
had marked August 15th,
máme 15. august,
the midnight cry,
polnočné volanie,
in 2018.
2018.
This is when the date is given.
Tu je daný dátum.
2018, the date was given.
V 2018 bol daný dátum.
So we saw this as our primary application
Videli sme toto ako primárnu aplikáciu
for the midnight cry message for the fractal of the priests.
Pre polnočné volanie fraktál kňazov.
We saw this is October 22nd, 1844.
Videli sme toto ako október 22.
We looked at that fanaticism. We should expect fanaticism at this waymark.
Mali by sme tu očakávať fanatizmus na tomto milníku.
As well that William Miller and Himes and others,
Rovnako ako aj William Miller a Himes
they
a
fall off the
ostatní
path and deny this waymark.
odpadli z cesty a odmietli tento milník.
We've been extensively looking at the transition of the first to the second messenger.
Pozerali sme sa na prechod od prvého k druhému poslovi
And that once the first messenger hands over his mantle,
a ako ten prvý posol predáva ten svoj kabát,
which is his spirit,
čo je jeho duch,
his prophetic gift, so to speak,
prorocké dary,
how often does he get to do that?
ako často to môže urobiť?
One time. You
Jedenkrát.
only can give your blessing one time.
Požehnanie
And after
môže
that
dať len
occurs,
jedenkrát.
or that is done,
Potom, ako je toto spravené,
what is the condition of the first messenger?
aký je stav toho prvého posla?
Can he pop up and give counsel again and speak?
Môže znova dať nejaké rady, hovoriť?
And I mean this now in a prophetic sense.
Myslím prorockým spôsobom.
No, he cannot.
Nie.
The influence of the first messenger dies.
Vplyv toho prvého posla zomrie.
Disappears. It's gone.
Zmizne.
Verschwindet. Okay, so that being said,
To sme povedali.
we came to the conclusion that in 2019,
Prišli sme k záveru, že v 2019,
when Elder Jeff in March or April
marec, apríl,
handed over his mantle to Elder Parminder,
keď brat Jeff predal ten svoj kabát bratovi Parmindrovi,
that he did so correctly.
Že to urobil správne.
But what he's doing now,
Ale to, čo robí teraz,
that on September 7th he started to speak again,
7. septembra začal hovoriť znovu.
as well as he's saying that he chose the wrong person,
Tiež aj to, že hovorí, že vybral nesprávneho človeka.
can't be.
To tak nemôže
Just
byť
because of the basic principles we talked about yesterday.
kvôli princípom, o ktorých sme hovorili včera.
And further, this person is not just the first messenger. The influence just doesn't only die.
Ten vplyv nielen, že zomrie.
On top of that, I did an application.
Spravila som aj aplikáciu.
And this was an application on the state of the dead.
A to bola aplikácia ohľadne
Similar like
stavu
the son-in-law
mŕtvych.
issue.
Podobne ako s nedeľným zákonom.
It doesn't make sense in our world today
V dnešnom svete to nedáva
that there will
zmysel,
be son-in-law with the issue about Sunday Sabbath.
že by bol nedeľný zákon ohľadne soboty, nedele.
And I suggest
Navrhujem,
that Adventism will not be that as Ellen White said it, we read the quote,
ako to povedala Ellen Whiteová, čítali sme ten citát,
that Satan will cause the dead to appear,
Satan spôsobí, že sa ukážu tí mŕtvi
and this will tempt the church, Seventh-day Adventism,
a toto
and how important it is for Adventism to know the state of the dead.
že je dôležité, že adventisti poznajú
And I
ten
suggested that we don't take that literal today,
stav mŕtvych a ja som vravila, že to nemusíme teraz brať
because what would we
doslovne.
do if Ellen White would walk into this room?
Čo by sme spravili, keby Ellen Whiteová vošla do tejto
We
miestnosti?
would say it's a demon.
Vedeli by sme, že to je démon.
We know that the dead know nothing, they are asleep.
Vieme, že mŕtvi nič nevedia, že spia.
So I made an application.
Spravila som aplikáciu.
It said when the first messenger hands over his mantle
A vravila som, že keď ten prvý posol predá ten svoj prorocký
and
kabát
he spiritually dies, so to speak,
a duchovne zomrie,
then if he starts speaking again, it's a dead person speaking.
ak začne znova hovoriť, je to ako keby mŕtvy hovoril.
So what are we seeing here manifested is actually spiritualism.
Takže čo tu vidíme? Prejavené špiritizmus.
Of course, this is spiritual speaking, not literally speaking.
To sa myslí duchovne, samozrejme nedoslovne.
Yesterday we addressed why the year 2019.
Včera sme o tom hovorili, že prečo rok
And I
2019.
suggested that there are two witnesses,
A hovorila som, že sú dvaja svedkovia
and these two witnesses
a títo dvaja svedkovia
were that twice
uh,
we can draw a line
môžeme urobiť líniu,
which comes to this point here,
ktorá prichádza k tomuto bodu sem.
which we always called midnight.
Nazývame to polnoc.
And from one study from Elder Parminder,
Z jednej štúdie brata Parmindra
I referred to that he marked the 30 years of hiding of Christ
som ukazoval, že značíme 30 rokov skrývania sa Krista,
where he works with his father.
kedy pracuje so svojím otcom,
He's in hiding. He's not in public ministry.
je v skrývaní, nie vo verejnej službe,
Could parallel the hiding time of Elizabeth,
že by to mohlo byť v čase že to skrývanie
which
Alžbety.
we already used to mark here in this time period.
A to sme už značili sem v tomto čase.
Zechariah is in the temple,
Zachariáš je v chráme
and it's filled with the glory of God,
a je to naplnené Duchom Svätým,
which we marked here at 9/11.
to značíme pri 9.11.
Elizabeth gets pregnant.
Alžbeta
And she
otehotne,
hides, I think, for 5 months.
5 mesiacov sa skrýva.
And then Mary, which is also pregnant,
Mária, ktorá je tiež tehotná,
comes for 1 month to visit her.
ju príde na mesiac navštíviť
And in the end, they both prophesy.
a nakoniec prorokujú obidve.
And which we understood this to be then the midnight cry.
Tomu sme rozumeli, že to je polnočné volanie.
So all Elder Parminder did is that he took the 30 years of Christ in the hiding time period.
To, čo urobil Parminder, bolo, že zobral týchto 30 rokov Krista v čase skrývania,
He applied them here.
aplikoval ich sem
And then he said at the end,
a povedal, že na konci
you would have the baptism of Christ.
bude krst.
Then you have he goes into the desert.
Ide na púšť
And then we have the public ministry starting.
a potom začína verejná služba.
So this marks the baptism of Christ here.
Toto nám tu značí krst Krista.
So this is witness number 1.
Toto je prvý svedok.
And witness number 2
Druhý svedok
is that the movement turned 30 last year.
je, že minulý rok toto hnutie malo 30 rokov.
And we know that normally we mark the birth of Christ here.
Vieme, že tu bežne značíme narodenie Krista.
And so 30 years coming here up here to this waymark.
30 rokov prichádzajú sem k tomuto milníku.
So these 30 years give us the year 2019.
Týchto 30 rokov nám dáva 2019.
And we always mark these 30 years reaching to midnight.
A týchto 30 rokov idúcich k polnoci.
And in the year 2018,
V 2018
we now knew that 2019 would be midnight
sme vedeli, že 2019 bude polnoc.
on the line for the ships.
Na línii
these are
tých
two witnesses
lodí.
showing how the baptism of Christ would be marked here at midnight, which we now know is 2019.
Máme dvoch svedkov, ktorí nám ukazujú, že krst by mal byť 2019.
And what happens at the baptism of Christ?
Čo sa deje pri krste
He's
Krista? Je pomazaný.
So and we know the first messenger always has to anoint the second one.
Vieme, že ten prvý posol musí vždy pomazať toho druhého.
So I suggest that 2019 was right on time when this transition happened.
Navrhla som, že 2019 bol presne na čas, keď sa stalo tento prechod.
But rule number 10
10. pravidlo
of William Miller
Williama Millera
tells us that symbols can have more than one meaning.
nám hovorí, že symboly môžu mať viac ako jeden
I
význam.
suggest that the transition we see,
Navrhla som, že ten prechod, ktorý vidíme,
we can see on multiple lines or from multiple perspectives.
môžeme vidieť z viacerých perspektív.
Normally we know this is 9/11
Väčšinou vieme, že toto je 9.11.
because this is baptism
Toto je krst
of Christ. We
Krista.
can mark a transition here.
Môžeme sem zaznačiť prechod.
We'll talk about that a little bit later.
O tom sa porozprávame neskôr.
But we didn't see literally Elder Jeff that he handed over the mantle to Elder Parminder in the year 2001.
My sme nevideli doslovne, že by brat Jeff dal kabát bratovi
So I was
Parminderovi.
wondering why was it 2019, and then I thought of this,
Tak
which
som
would explain it.
si hovorila, že prečo 2019 a toto ma napadlo, že takto sa to dá
The different
vysvetliť.
perspectives will teach us different truth.
Iná perspektíva nás naučí inú pravdu.
For me, this shows it puts more evidence on the year 2019.
Pre mňa toto dáva väčšiu váhu dôkazu na 2019.
Okay, and there was one thing we quickly went to Matthew 24.
Bola jedna vec, do ktorej sme išli rýchlo v Matúšovi 24,
Where it says, where Christ warns his disciples that false Christ will arrive.
kde Pán Ježiš varuje svojich učeníkov pred
And I'm
falošnými
just restating
kristami.
that because maybe it wasn't quite clear.
Možno to nebolo úplne jasné,
But I asked, who was Christ
ale pýtala som sa, že kto je Kristus
in the context of John and Christ?
v kontexte Jána a Krista.
Christ was what messenger?
Kristus
The
bol, ktorý
second.
poslal druhý.
So in Matthew 24, instead of saying Christ, false Christ,
Matúšovi 24, miesto toho, že to je falošný
we could
Kristus,
now say that Christ warns them that false second messengers would arise.
môžeme povedať, že Kristus ich varuje, že prídu falošní druhí poslovia.
Because Christ is the second messenger.
Pretože Kristus je druhý
Could say
posol.
false second messengers will arise,
Takže falošní druhí poslovia povstanú,
which will say, I am the one,
ktorí povedia, ja som ten,
I have the message,
ja mám to posolstvo,
follow me.
následujte ma.
And I think we've seen that quite a bit in this movement,
Myslím, že toho sme už dosť videli v tomto hnutí,
where people rose up and said, I'm the next person.
kde ľudia povstali a povedali, že ja som ten druhý.
I've the truth.
Mám pravdu.
But I want to remind us of the words Elder Jeff used this spring.
Chcem vám pripomenúť slova, ktoré použil brat Jeff túto jar.
He said that he represents all these people like Moses, like John, like William Miller,
Je, že on reprezentuje všetkých týchto ľudí, ako je Jozef, Jan, William Miller,
Elijah,
Eliáš.
and especially Moses, Elijah, and John.
A zvlášť Mojžiš, Eliáš a Jan
They recognized the second messenger.
rozpoznali toho druhého
We
posla.
also read that this morning with Brother Jonathan.
To sme aj čítali s bratom Jonatanom.
And therefore he said, I'm standing here and I'm recognizing that he's the one.
A on teda sa postavil a povedal, ja viem, že on je
With
to.
him or he meant Elder Parminder.
A tým myslel brata Parmindra.
At that time,
V tomto
Elder
čase
Parminder somehow still had his leading hat on. He was still a first messenger in some perspective, in one perspective. Jeff.
v tomto bode brat Jeff stále ešte mal ako keby tú vedúcu
So
úlohu.
we can believe him when he says that he recognizes the second messenger.
Takže mu môžeme veriť, keď povedal, že rozpoznáva druhého
And he
posla.
recognized Elder Parminder and he did right in giving him the mantle.
A rozpoznal brata Parmindra a správne mu predal ten kabát.
And it was at the right time.
A to bolo v správnej dobe.
And now he switches symbols, just like in Matthew 16.
Teraz zmení tie symboly tak, jak Matúš 16.
And now he's the symbol for the biggest test this movement ever had.
A to je symbol pre najväčšiu skúšku, aké toto hnutie malo.
Because we said FFA is the popular, the easy side to choose.
Hovorili sme, že FFA je tá obľúbená strana, tá jednoduchšia.
In the shaking we're in.
V triebení, kde sa nachádzame.
So I want to read one more quote.
Chcem prečítať ešte jeden citát.
I'm looking for it right now. It's a very famous quote.
Je to veľmi známy citát.
And it's Letters 55, page 1886, paragraph 18.
Sú to listy 55.
It's also found, I think Sarah found it. It's also found in second selected messages 380, paragraph 2.
Tiež je to v 2 SM 380.
Again, we're in the 1880s.
Sme v 1880 rokoch,
So we know the condition of the church.
takže vieme ten stav cirkvi.
I think at that time Ellen White was in Australia.
Myslím, že v tejto dobe Ellen Whiteová bola v Austrálii
And she hears about the mess in the United States.
a počula o tom chaose v Spojených štátoch
And she writes a letter. And I think it was to Butler,
a myslím, že písala list Butlerovi,
one of the leading brethren.
jeden z vedúcich
And
bratov.
this entire letter is actually a heavy rebuke to the leadership of the church.
A toto je také pokarhanie vedúcich cirkví.
And now comes this famous passage.
A teraz prichádza tá slávna pasáž.
She says, Satan will work his miracles to deceive.
Satan bude robiť zázraky, aby zviedol,
He will set up his power as supreme.
ustanoví svoju moc ako
The
najvyššiu.
church may appear as about to fall,
Cirkev môže vyzerať, že padne,
but it does not fall.
ale nepadne.
We're all familiar with this quote, right?
Toto všetci poznáme však.
So that's something the church uses often when they have to handle this movement.
Toto často používa cirkev, keď sa musí zaoberať s týmto hnutím.
Further, Ellen White says it remains,
Ďalej
the church
hovorí,
remains,
že tá cirkev ostane,
while the sinners in Zion will be sifted out.
zatiaľ čo hriešnici na Sione budú vytriebení.
The chaff separated from the precious wheat.
A ten plevel bude
This is a
vytriebený
terrible
od pšenice.
ordeal, but nevertheless it must take place.
Toto je niečo hrozné, ale musí sa to stať.
So far, so good.
Zatiaľ
So
dobre.
in the next paragraph, I don't have it in my notes.
V ďalšom odstavci, nemám to v poznámkach,
She gives us a promise that a small remnant will survive that shaking.
dáva nám zasľúbenie, že ostatok prežije toto triebenie.
Übrigen? So Ellen White says here that the church will be heavenly shaking,
Ellen Whiteová hovorí, že cirkev bude silne vytriebená
and it looks like it will fall,
a vyzerá, že padne,
but it's actually a small portion which will survive that shaking.
ale malá skupina ostane a prežije to.
And that second paragraph, often the people in the church don't read.
A potom je tu druhý odstavec, ktorý častokrát ľudia nečítajú.
However, when does this shaking take place?
Kedy sa deje toto triebenie?
When does the church seem to fall?
Kedy to vyzerá, že tá cirkev padne?
What do you think?
Čo myslíte?
What way, Mark?
Ktorý milník je to?
Daniela, close of probation, second coming?
Nedeľný zákon, záver milosti.
She says here,
Ona tu hovorí,
the church remains while the sinners in Zion will be sifted out,
cirkev zostane zatiaľ, čo hriešnici budú vytriebení.
the chaff separated from the precious wheat.
A plevel oddelený od pšenice.
Here a little hint is given.
Tu je taká pomoc nám
Where
daná.
is that on our reform line?
Kde to máme na reformnej línii?
In a harvest,
V žatve.
because the chaff is separated from the wheat.
Pretože tá pšenica je oddelená
And that
od
we know that from Matthew 13, that this will occur at the
plevelu.
harvest.
Vieme, že to sa deje v žatve.
So where's the harvest on our line?
Kde je žatva na našej línii?
Where? At the close of probation.
Záver milosti.
So this is where the harvest starts.
Tu začína žatva.
And for the priest, the close of probation is November 9, 2019.
Pre kňazov je to 2019.
So what should we expect?
Čo by sme mali očakávať?
We're in the harvest time period.
Sme v čase žatvy.
And what does Ellen White say?
A čo hovorí Ellen
The
Whiteová?
church now seems to fall,
Že cirkev vyzerá, že padne,
but will not fall.
ale nepadne.
It's just that the sinners need to be sifted out.
Len tí hriešnici musia byť preosiatí.
And when these sinners are sifted out, what do you have?
Keď sú preosiatí, čo nám ostane?
A pure church,
Čistá cirkev,
which can start its public ministry.
ktorá môže začať svoju verejnú službu.
But I'm suggesting this is the experience we're having now.
Ja hovorím, že toto je skúsenosť, ktorú máme teraz.
The movement,
Hnutie,
the church triumphant,
cirkev víťazná,
seems to fall at this moment.
vyzerá, že padne v tejto chvíli,
But it will not fall, it will remain.
ale nepadne, ostane.
It's just that we have to go through this last shaking.
Len musíme ísť cez toto posledné triebenie.
And that's the shaking we are now in,
A sme v ňom teraz,
where we separate the chaff from the wheat.
kde sa oddeluje kúkol od pšenice.
So I want to make that point.
Chcela som toto povedať.
And now I want to address a different issue.
Ešte chcem sa vyjadriť k inej téme.
And that I said that I already stated once that we are being accused of having been turned into a political movement.
Sme obvinení z toho, že sa z nás stalo politické hnutie.
That the movement was hijacked and now is a political movement.
Že to hnutie bolo unesené a stalo sa politickým.
So, and that our message has nothing to do anymore with salvational issues.
A že naše posolstvo už nič nemá so spásanostnými vecami
Our relationship to Christ.
a vzťahom ku Kristovi.
Because all we do is we watch the news.
Lebo len sledujeme televízne noviny,
We defend the Democrats.
stávame sa na
We've
stranu
become
demokratov, liberálov.
And all these I'm not going to address all the accusations.
Nejdem hovoriť všetky tie obvinenia.
But let's think about it.
Poďme o tom porozmýšľať.
Do we have a political message?
Máme politické posolstvo?
Yes, of course.
Samozrejme.
But those who accuse us,
Ale tí, ktorí nás obviňujú,
I hope they watch this, but of course they will not watch this.
dúfam, že to pozerajú, ale asi nie.
I mean, what do Adventists think when they reach the Sunday law?
Čo si adventisti myslia, keď prídu k nedeľnému zákonu?
Just generally speaking, do we think we don't address political issues when we reach that waymark?
My si myslíme, že nebudeme vtedy hovoriť o politických veciach, keď prídeme k tomu milníku?
The Adventists say that it's a Sunday law.
Veď adventisti hovoria, že je to nedeľný
And they
zákon
think that at that time they will have to stand up and defend the Sabbath.
a že v tom čase sa postavia a budú musieť obraňovať sobotu.
Well, it's a law of the country.
Je to zákon krajiny.
If you stand up and you go against that law, what are you?
Ak sa postavíte a pôjdete proti tomu zákonu, čím ste?
You're addressing political issues.
Hovoríte o politických otázkach.
So even at that most basic level,
Aj v tomto najjednoduchšom modeli
the accusation that it's bad to have to address political issues
to obvinenie, že to je zle sa vyjadrovať k politickým témam,
is not even valid.
nie je ani platné.
Because at the Sunday law, we expected anyway to become we would anyway become involved into political issues.
Pretože pri nedeľnom zákone by sme sa aj tak zapletli do politických otázok.
And even further,
A ešte ďalej,
we know that Christ wanted to come back in 1863.
vieme, že Kristus sa chcel vrátiť v
But
1863,
he didn't come back.
ale neprišiel.
Because we know the church was in a Laodicean condition.
Vieme, že cirkev bola v stave Laodice,
So we have 1798,
takže 1798,
1844,
1844.
and then Christ wanted to come back in 1863.
A Kristus sa chcel vrátiť v 63.
Since 1850, we're Laodiceans.
Od 1850 sme Laodicea.
So when does Ellen White say, when did Christ want to come back?
Čo vraví Ellen Whiteová,
After the 1863.
kedy sa chcel Pán Ježiš vrátiť?
What was the next waymark?
Aký bol ďalší
I
milník?
suggest it's 1888.
1888.
So as we learned with Elder Parminder,
Ako sa učíme s bratom Parmindrom,
this would be 3a, the arrival of the third angel.
toto je príchod tretieho anjela.
What this would have been.
A čo je toto?
3e, empowerment.
Zmocnenie.
So here, at this point, I hope you can see it.
Dúfam, že to môžete vidieť. V tomto bode
Here, we would have the Sunday law.
by sme mali nedeľný zákon.
Sorry, I'm backing up. So here,
Tu
we would have had a cry given.
by bolo dané volanie.
Before I go into details, I'm not.
Predtým, ako pôjdem do detailov, čo nejdem,
I just want to do a simple observation.
chcem spraviť len jednoduché pozorovanie.
Third angel here, 3e here.
Tu je tretí anjel, zmocnenie tretieho.
Who were the messengers in this time period?
Kto boli poslovia v tejto
Who
dobe?
was to prepare God's people for Christ's coming?
Kto mal pripraviť Boží ľud na príchod Krista?
Jones and Wagner.
Jones a Wagner.
And our church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church,
Naša cirkev adventistov,
they speak highly of these two people.
veľmi vážne hovoria o týchto dvoch ľuďoch.
What does Ellen White do in this time period?
Čo robí Ellen Whiteová v tomto čase?
What does she do with the message of Jones and Wagner?
Čo robí s posolstvom Jonesa Wagonera?
She's promoting it.
Ona ho propaguje.
Yeah, she's promoting it. And in fact, she's calling it, this is the third angel's message, right?
A hovorí, že toto je posolstvo tretieho anjela.
Which would fit.
To by sedelo.
I'm honest, I'm not too familiar with the historical context of everything which was going on at that time.
Ten historický kontext toho, čo sa dialo, až tak dobre nepoznám.
But it seems like Jones and Wagner were the messengers.
Ale vyzerá, že Jones a Wagoner boli poslovia.
And Ellen White as a prophet endorsed them.
A ona ako prorokyňa ich podporovala alebo
So I have a
pretlačala.
question.
Mám otázku.
What does our church remember what the message of Jones and Wagner was at that time?
Čo si naša cirkev pamätá, o čom bolo posolstvo Jonesa a Wagonera?
What are the topics we remember of these two brethren?
Aké témy si pamätáme od týchto dvoch bratov?
Righteousness by faith,
Spravodlivosť viery,
the law in Galatian.
zákon v Galatianoch.
So it's a lot about these issues. That's what we remember what these brethren taught.
Tam je veľa toho o týchto témach. To si pamätáme, čo učili títo bratia.
I want to remind us of something.
Chcem vám niečo pripomenúť.
Who goes to Congress
Kto ide do kongresu
and prevents the son-in-law?
a zabráni nedeľnému zákonu?
It's Jones, right?
Bol to Jones.
How can you go to Congress and defend the son-in-law?
Ako môžete ísť do kongresu a
What do you
bojovať
think?
proti
Do
nedeľnému
you think he
zákonu?
walks into Congress and says, we need to live by righteousness by faith, and therefore we don't need a son-in-law?
Myslíte, že on tam prišiel a povedal im, že musíme žiť spravodlivosťou z viery a tak nám netreba nedeľný zákon?
And then the Congress says, I think you're right.
A oni mu povedia, myslím, že máš pravdu.
We're not going to pass a son-in-law.
Nepôjdeme cez nedeľný zákon. Teda
Do you think this is how it
nedáme
worked?
mu prejsť. Myslíte, že to bolo takto?
A.T. Jones
A.T. Jones,
is the time period before he apostatized.
ešte predtým, ako vošiel do odpadnutia,
He's much loved by our church today,
dnes ho naša cirkev veľmi má rada.
especially by the conservative people.
Zvlášť konzervatívny.
But was his message? Who was A.T. Jones?
Ale kto bol A.T. Jones? Aký mal posolstvo?
A.T. Jones was a historian.
On bol historik.
He knew the histories of the empires.
Poznal dejiny tých ríši
He
rôznych.
wrote quite a few books about it.
Napísal o tom niekoľko kníh.
And especially a really good one is called The Two Republics,
Jedna veľmi dobrá je Dve republiky,
where he parallels this republic
kde dáva do paralely túto republiku
with the republic, the United States.
s republikou Spojených štátov.
And he says their uprising and their downfall will be the same.
A hovorí, že ich vzrast, ako aj ich pád bude rovnaký.
So first hint, A.T. Jones knows history really well.
A.T. Jones veľmi dobre pozná dejiny
And because he knows history well
a kvôli tomu, že ich pozná
and knows that there will be a copy of the papacy,
a vie, že pápežstvo bude mať svoju kópiu,
and he looks around him,
pozerá sa okolo seba
he looks at the news
na správy
and the movements within the United States,
a na hnutia v Spojených štátoch
he knows that history is repeating.
a vie, že dejiny sa opakujú.
And therefore, because he also knows the political system of the United States,
Pretože pozná aj politický systém Spojených štátov,
because he knows the Constitution,
pozná ústavu,
which Ellen White, you can see and demonstrate that it's the glory of the glorious land,
čo môžeme preukázať, že to je sláva Spojených štátov u Whiteovej.
it's a complete political document.
To je politický dokument.
And because he knows all of that, he can go to Congress
Pretože toto všetko pozná, môže ísť do kongresu
and he can prevent a Sunday law.
a zabrániť nedeľnému zákonu.
So how did A.T. Jones defend the church?
Ako A.T. Jones obraňuje cirkev?
He needed to address political issues.
Musel sa vyjadriť k politickým
He
otázkam.
had to take a stand
Musel povstať,
when in the 1880s Sunday laws came up.
keď 1880 prišiel nedeľný zákon.
But you can only do that if you know what is going on in the world.
Ale to môžete spraviť len, ak viete, čo sa deje vo svete.
But you can only know and recognize that what in the world is going wrong
Ale môžete toto rozpoznať len, ak
when you know history
poznáte
and
dejiny.
when you can say what is right and what is wrong.
A keď viete rozlišiť, čo je správne a nesprávne.
What I mean with that,
Čo tým myslím?
the first amendment of the Constitution says
Prvý
that
dodatok k ústave
Congress
hovorí, že
shall make
kongres
no law
neurobi žiaden zákon,
Gesetz erlassen soll,
respecting an establishment of religion
das eine
ohľadne ustanovenia zákona
vorheben soll,
or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
alebo zakázaniu toho, alebo nesmie zakázať proste
That's the first amendment of the Constitution.
žiadne náboženstvo. To je hneď prvý dodatok.
It says that the United States
A hovorí to, že Spojené štáty
is not allowed to establish a religion.
nemôžu ustanoviť náboženstvo.
America was never a Christian nation. Never, ever.
Amerika nikdy nebola kresťanským národom.
eine christliche Nation.
And they should not be.
Ani by nemali byť.
Because as soon as they claim themselves to be a Christian nation,
Pretože keď budú sa hlásiť za
they're
kresťanský
uniting
národ,
church and state.
spájajú cirkev a štát.
We'll talk about that in my next section, the third section I want to talk
O
about.
tom budeme hovoriť v mojej ďalšej časti.
So when in the 1880s,
Keď v 1880
A.T. Jones sees that Sunday laws are coming up,
A.T. Jones vidí, že prichádzajú nedeľné zákony.
what does he see?
Čo vidí?
He sees that the Christian nation is being chosen in America
Vidí, že kresťanský národ bol povolaný v Amerike
and established in laws.
a ustanovený v zákonoch.
And he knows that this is a breaking of the First Amendment of the Constitution.
On vie, že toto je porušovanie prvého dodatku.
And go to America and go to the politics in America.
Choďte do Ameriky aj do politiky, pozrite.
It's all about the Constitution.
Celé je to o ústave.
It's the highest law they have.
To je najvyšší zákon, aký majú.
So how can A.T. Jones defend God, so to speak?
Ako môže A.T. Jones obraňovať Boha?
He needs to know the Constitution.
Musí poznať ústavu.
He needs to know the laws of the land.
Musí poznať zákony zeme.
He needs to observe what is going on,
Musí sledovať, čo sa deje,
these movements,
tieto hnutia,
and then he stands even in front of Congress.
a potom stojí pred kongresom.
That I'm not sure now,
O tom som si není istá,
but I doubt that Congress was calling A.T. Jones.
ale pochybujem, že oni volali A.T. Jonesa.
Said, hey, a history teacher from Battle Creek,
Učiteľ z Battle Creeku, jeden, čo učí
which I
dejiny,
don't think was very known.
myslím, že nebol veľmi známy.
Can you please tell us about laws?
Môžeš nám prosím povedať o zákonoch?
I think it was the other way around.
Myslím, že to bolo naopak.
People signed up to be able to speak in Congress,
Ľudia sa musia prihlásiť, aby mohli v kongrese niečo povedať.
to either give proof for the bill or reject it, or give purpose why it needs to be rejected.
Aby mohli dať nejaký dôkaz na ten zákon alebo ho odmietnúť.
And Jones is the messenger of this time,
Jan je posol tohto času,
supported by Ellen White.
podporovaný Ellen Whiteovou.
He has a completely political message.
Má úplne politické posolstvo.
It's the third angel's message,
Je to posolstvo tretieho
completely
anjela.
political.
Úplne politické.
So I think the accusations we have
Myslím, že tie
that we are a political movement,
obvinenia, ktoré máme, že sme politickým hnutím,
I'm not sure what to make of it actually.
nie som si istá, čo mám z toho urobiť.
I think very easily you can prove that this is foolishness to accuse us of that.
Myslím, že môžeme veľmi jednoducho ukázať, že to je bláznostvo nás tohto obviňovať.
But on the other hand,
Na druhej strane
it shows us that we're just repeating A.T. Jones.
ukazuje to, že opakujeme A.T. Jonesa.
Yes, of course we have to take a stand on political issues.
Samozrejme, že musíme zobrať sa postaviť na politické otázky,
Because we're approaching the Sunday law,
pretože prichádzame k nedeľnému zákonu,
which will be a political issue.
čo bude politická otázka.
And then, and I think Adventism often forgets that aspect about A.T. Jones.
Myslím, že adventizmus často zabúda tento aspekt A.T. Jonesa.
That much of his message was about how the government should be run.
Že mnoho z jeho posolstva bolo o tom, že ako by sa mala vláda riadiť.
In the terms of uniting church and states.
Ohľadne spájania štátu a cirkvi.
He even writes a really good book about that. It's called Civil Government and Religion.
Napísal o tom veľmi dobrú knihu, volá sa Občianska vláda a náboženstvo.
Religion. And it's also, you can also, the dialogue at the Congress,
Dialóg v kongrese
which is between A.T. Jones and Senator Blair,
medzi A.T. Jonesom a senátorom Blairom,
which is published in a book called The Sunday Law.
je publikované v knihe nazvanej Nedeľný zákon.
Read through these books,
Čítajte si to.
and you will see that A.T. Jones was a professional person on these subjects.
A uvidíte, že A.T. Jones bol profesionál na tieto témy.
All political issues.
Všetko politické otázky.
And my last witness
Môj posledný svedok,
is, let's go to the chart.
poďme sa pozrieť na tabuľku.
How many horns does America have?
Koľko rohov má Amerika?
Revelation 13.
Zjavenie 13.
It's 2, right?
2.
And what do the pioneers tell us?
Čo nám pionieri hovoria?
What are these horns?
Čo sú tieto rohy?
It says here,
Tu sa to
two
píše.
lamb-like horns.
2 rohy ako baránok.
Das lammähnliche Horn?
Das Lamm
The, yeah, the two lamb-like horns. Die
zwei,
lammähnlichen Hörner.
die lammähnlichen
2 rohy ako má baránok.
Republicanism and Protestantism.
Republikanizmus a protestantizmus.
So what we do always in this movement
To, čo my vždy robíme v tomto
is
hnutí,
that we say we have here one horn, which is called Protestantism,
povieme, že máme jeden roh, to je protestantizmus,
and the other one is called Republicanism.
a druhý sa nazýva
And then we say
republikanizmus.
Protestantism falls within the Millerite time period,
Potom hovoríme, že protestantizmus padá v čase
and
mileritov
Republicanism will fall in our time.
a republikanizmus v našom čase.
You might have heard say that it fell at 9/11.
Možno ste počuli, že bolo povedané, že to padlo pri
Let's
9.11.
approach, and then I'm not sure how to do this now to lead you guys there, but think about it. What is Protestantism?
Čo je protestantizmus?
We always think about it. That's the churches which were fallen.
My vždy hovoríme, že myslíme, že to sú tie cirkvi, ktoré
But I
padli.
think it's quite wrong to do that.
Ale podľa mňa to nie je úplne správne.
When do we consider that this horn falls?
Kedy zvažujeme, že tento roh padá?
1844? That's what I would have thought always the same. I would have thought the same way.
1844 a ja by som
from
si
Acts
tak myslela.
27, Acts 27,
Skutky 27
we have the ship Alexandria.
máme loď v Alexandrii.
And when does it come off course?
A kedy zíde z cesty?
1863.
1863.
So what happened in 1863 that we marked this ship coming off course?
Čo sa stalo v 1863, že značíme, že táto loď zišla z cesty?
It's another study.
To je iné štúdium.
Okay, the rejection of the chart would be internally in the church.
Odmietnutie tých kariet by bolo
But we know this
vnútorne.
is talking about America, meaning externally.
My teraz hovoríme o Amerike, o vonkajších
How does
udalostiach.
America come off the course?
Ako Amerika zišla z cesty?
No, that was a positive thing. Something else. Because, huh? How about in God we trust?
V Boha veríme.
You remember that study?
Pamätáte si to?
In 1863,
1863
this movement, the National Reform Movement starts,
toto hnutie začalo Národné
which
reformné
is this
hnutie.
movement which actually unites church and state again.
To je hnutie, ktoré spája cirkev a štát.
That is the movement Jones is fighting against in this time period.
To je hnutie, proti ktorému Jones bojuje v tomto čase.
What are we fighting against today with our midnight cry message?
My bojujeme proti čomu v čase polnočného volania?
The same movement as A.T. Jones.
Proti tomu istému hnutiu ako A.T. Jones.
If we want to know how to fight this battle,
Ak chcete vedieť, ako bojovať tento boj,
check out his arguments.
pozrite sa na jeho argumenty.
They're valid for our time today.
Stále sú platné do dnešnej doby.
Good. So what was Protestantism?
Čo bol protestantizmus?
For that, I suggest that we have to go back
Na to,
to the time when Protestantism, the word, was created.
musíme ísť naspäť, keď bolo vytvorené to slovo
And in what
protestantizmus.
year or what event was Protestantism, that word, created?
Ktorá udalosť bola to, že vytvorila protestantizmus?
The protest of the princes.
To je protest kniežat.
I think it was 1521.
Tam bolo im vtedy dané to meno.
However, the protest of the princes
Ten protest kniežat
is where the word Protestantism comes from.
je slovo, odkiaľ pochádza protestantizmus.
So, why was the word Protestantism or protest, why was it used to describe this, what was going on here?
Prečo toto slovo protestantizmus alebo protest bolo použité na toto?
What were the princes protesting over?
Proti čomu oni protestovali? Tie kniežatá.
So it was against Rome.
Proti Rímu.
And what did Rome try to do?
Čo sa Rím snažil urobiť?
What was Rome always?
Čo oni vždy boli?
The feet. It was
To boli nohy.
church, state, combination, union.
Kombinácia cirkvi a štátu.
And I think sometimes we misunderstand what the Reformation was.
Myslím, že niekedy plne nerozumieme, o čom bola reformácia.
If you look at the Reformation and the 30-year war afterwards,
Ak sa pozriete na reformáciu a potom na tú 30-ročnú vojnu,
you really think that they were fighting 30 years just to see if Christ saves you from your sins or if you have to confess always to a priest.
naozaj si myslíte, že viedli 30 rokov vojnu kvôli tomu, že či Kristus nás zachráni z našich hriechov, alebo sa musíme spovedať kňazovi?
That was not the issue of the war.
To nebol dôvod vojny.
The war was two parties.
Bolo to o dvoch
Catholicism
skupinách. Katolicizmus
against Protestantism.
proti protestantizmu.
I'll draw that here. But what is Catholicism
A čo je katolicizmus?
and what is Protestantism?
A čo je
So
protestantizmus?
these were fighting against each other.
Títo bojovali jeden proti druhému.
In Catholicism,
V katolicizme
you had the church and the state united,
sme mali spojenú cirkev a štát.
and the church was Rome,
Tá cirkev to bol Rím
and the state was the Holy Roman Empire.
a ten štát to
And
bola
what was
Rímska ríša.
Protestantism like?
A protestantizmus bol čo?
What had changed?
Čo sa tam zmenilo?
They were now not connected anymore
Neboli spojení
to the state.
so štátom.
There was a separation.
Bolo tu
The church
oddelenie.
in Rome could suddenly not tell anymore the state what to do.
Rímska cirkev už nemohla štátu hovoriť, čo
And
majú
we're
robiť.
underestimating that history and what really was going on.
Tieto dejiny podceňujeme a to, čo sa tam naozaj dialo.
That was a huge political issue.
To bola veľká
Because
politická vec.
often here, the state had to give lots of money to the church
Častokrát štát musel dávať veľa peňazí cirkvi.
Often the church owned the property, not the people themselves.
Cirkev vlastnila majetky, nie ľudia.
This was an issue about money often.
To bolo veľa o peniazoch.
Political things. Who has the power?
Politické veci a kto má tu moc.
So when I think this is where the protest of the princes come in.
Takže keď si hovorím, že toto je, kedy prichádza protest kniežat,
They didn't want to go back to this relationship.
nechceli sa vrátiť k tomuto vzťahu.
So when we see the Protestant horn
Keď vidíme protestantský roh
of America,
Ameriky,
it's not the Protestant churches in the United States.
to nie sú protestantské cirkvi
That's at least what I think.
v Spojených štátoch. To je to, čo ja si
Because
myslím.
we know that they were full of wrong doctrine.
Vieme, že boli plní nesprávneho učenia.
Why would it be a horn where we say, oh, this is bad that it broke?
Prečo by mal byť ten roh...
I
Teraz
suggest
neviem.
that this horn
tento roh
is what here the word actually says.
je to, čo tu vlastne hovorí to slovo.
You protest against church and state.
Protest proti cirkvi a štátu.
And this is what broke in Millerite history.
To je to, čo zlomilo dejiny Milleritov.
Because at their end,
Na konci
church and
dejín
state started to unite again.
cirkev a štát sa začali znova spájať.
We know that the fall is not complete.
Vieme, že ten pád nie je úplný,
We know Christ didn't come back.
že sa Kristus nevrátil
And the church-state relationship goes stronger and stronger
A
every
ten-
year in the United States.
a ten vzťah sa posilňuje stále.
But we're seeing how this horn is already broken since quite a long time.
Ale vidíme, že to je zlomené už nejaký čas, ten roh.
It's a completely political issue.
To je politická otázka.
And White had to deal with about slavery.
Ellen Whiteová sa tu s tým musela zaoberať ohľadne otroctva.
Slavery was an issue about church and state.
To bol tiež problém cirkvi a
A.T.
štátu.
Jones had to deal with it here.
A.T. Jones sa s tým musel
It was
vysporiadať.
about Sunday laws.
To bolo o nedeľnom zákone.
In our time, it's again a political issue.
V našom čase znovu je to politická otázka.
What's the Republican horn?
Čo je republikánsky roh?
What do you think?
Čo si myslíte?
What does the Republican horn signify?
Čo ten republikánsky roh nám predstavuje?
It's the state.
Je to štát?
The Constitution, yes.
Ústava.
But what is so unique about a republic?
Čo je také jedinečné o republike?
Yes, exactly. So normally a republic, I'm coming to that. A republic is a democracy.
Normálne republika je
You
demokracia,
don't have a king or anything.
kde nemáme kráľa alebo niečo.
You have a government
Máme vládu
for the people,
pre ľudí,
by the people,
vedená ľuďmi
through the people,
a skrze ľudí.
or for the people.
Pre
So,
ľudí.
but the unique thing about a republic
Ale tá jedinečná vec o republike
is there are laws which protect the minorities.
je, že sú zákony, ktoré ochraňujú
That's so
menšiny.
unique about a republic. That's so unique about the United States.
To je jedinečné o republike a tiež o Spojených štátoch.
These two horns.
Tieto dva rohy.
There's no country like the United States in this world
Nie je taká krajina, ako sú Spojené štáty,
which in its highest law,
ktorá vo svojom najvyššom zákone,
Constitution,
ústave,
has church and state separated.
má rozdelenie cirkvi a štátu.
By the way, we're in Germany.
Sme v Nemecku.
Do we have the separation of church and state in Germany?
Máme u nás rozdelenie cirkvi a štátu?
No, we don't.
Nie.
We might think so.
Možno
It
si
feels
myslíme.
like it,
Vypadá to tak?
but we don't.
Ale nemáme.
America is unique in their type of government.
Amerika je jedinečná v tom type svojej vlády.
And also the Republican horn is very unique.
A tiež ten republikánsky roh.
And it is the Republican horn which falls in our time period.
Je to republikánsky roh, ktorý padá v našom čase.
So think about it. When the Republican horn falls in our time,
Keď republikánsky roh padne v našom čase,
What is our job?
Aká je naša úloha?
We need to prevent it.
Musíme tomu brániť.
Just like A.T. Jones tried to prevent that the Protestant horn would fall.
Tak ako aj A.T. Jones sa snažil zabrániť tomu, aby padol protestantský roh.
We know we cannot prevent it,
Vieme, že tomu zabrániť nemôžeme,
but we know that we have to warn the people from that fall of this horn.
ale vieme, že musíme ľudí varovať pred tým, aby tento roh nepadol.
So how can we warn somebody?
Ako môžeme niekoho varovať?
How can I warn somebody that a Republican horn will fall if all I know is the righteousness of Christ?
Ako môžem niekoho varovať, že padá republikánsky roh, keď všetko, čo poznám, je Kristova spravodlivosť?
If it's all that I know is that the way how I need to have a relationship with God,
A že spôsob, ako musím mať vzťah s Bohom,
or that I need to dress correctly and so on.
alebo sa musím nejakým spôsobom obliekať a podobne.
It's our job to warn that this horn is falling.
Naša úloha je varovať, že tento roh padá.
In order to warn people from this,
Aby sme ľudí mohli od tohto varovať,
we have to know what this horn is.
musíme vedieť, čo ten roh je
We need to understand it.
a rozumieť tomu.
And we need to look around and see how this horn is being under attack.
A pozrieť sa a vidieť, ako je tento roh pod útokom.
And I said, then of course we have a political message.
A potom poviem, jasné, že máme politické
Because we're
posolstvo.
seeing how the republic in America is dying.
Lebo vidíme, ako Amerika
And it's
republika
our
zomiera.
job to warn people from it.
Ako zomiera a naša úloha je ľudí varovať.
Just like Ellen White did here,
Tak ako aj Ellen Whiteová
just like Jones did it here.
a Jones tu.
And in closing now,
V závere,
what do you think?
čo si myslíte?
Is the United States getting better or worse?
Spojené štáty idú k lepšiemu alebo k
When you
horšiemu?
consider it from its first beginning till now.
Keď to zvážime od prvého začiatku k tomu terajšiemu.
Worse.
Zhoršujú sa.
I thought you would say that.
To som si myslela, že by ste povedali.
But let's think about it.
Porozmýšľajme o tom.
When America was created,
Keď Amerika bola
when the
vytvorená,
Constitution was founded,
keď bola založená ústava,
till today,
až do dnes,
I'm not prepared for this. I'm doing this out of memory.
toto nemám pripravené, to trošku teraz vyťahujem.
But Ellen White, I'm sure everyone knows it. And I think it's in 1776.
Som si istá, že toto všetci poznajú. Myslím, že je to
But around
1776.
this time period, Ellen White has a quote where she says that a new power is rising.
Ellen Whiteová má citát, kde hovorí, že vzrastá nová moc.
And this new power was what?
A táto nová moc bola čo?
It was the United States.
Spojené štáty.
But in its beginning, what did the United States have?
Vo svojom začiatku, čo Spojené štáty mali?
Was it perfect?
Boli dokonalé?
Was the United States perfect from its beginning?
Boli Spojené štáty dokonalé od začiatku?
No.
Nie.
If you look at it internally,
Ak sa pozrieme vnútorne,
1798, the
1799
message of Adventism comes.
prichádza posolstvo
And the
adventizmu.
pioneers, how do they dress and how do they eat?
A pionieri, ako sa obliekajú, čo jedia,
And how do they drink?
čo pijú.
You think they were all vegans?
Myslíte, že boli vegáni?
No.
Nie.
There was a time period
Bol čas,
where God, just over a time period, taught them several things,
keď Boh
one after the other.
ich učil niekoľko vecí, jednu po druhej.
So it means Adventism had to grow.
To znamená, že adventizmus musí rásť
They have to grow in their understanding
vo svojom porozumení
of the prophetic message
prorockého posolstva
as well as in the moral message.
a tiež aj morálne.
So now, if we apply it internally to the church,
Ak to aplikujeme vnútorne na cirkev,
we also have to apply it externally to the United States.
musíme to aplikovať aj vonkajšie na Spojené štáty.
We learn that from the ships.
To sa učíme z lodí.
Acts 27.
Skutky 27.
So this shows us that America, when it came up, was it perfect?
Toto nám ukazuje, že Amerika, keď prišla, bola dokonalá?
No,
Nie.
because there was still slavery existing
Ešte stále bolo otroctvo
and
existujúce.
women were oppressed.
Ženy boli utlačané.
Were not even allowed to vote.
Nemohli ani voliť.
And we see that over time,
Vidíme, že v tomto čase
the constitution has amendments
alebo,
added to the
alebo ako prešiel
constitution.
čas, tá ústava mala dodatky.
I think they're over 20 by now.
Myslím, že
27 by now.
už ich je tuším 27.
Last one, I think on July 1, 1971, as I read here.
Tá posledná je z 20.
And the constitution is a living document.
Ústava je žijúci dokument.
The United States has to grow.
Spojené štáty musia rásť.
In the 1860s,
V 1860 rokoch
it learns about slavery.
Sa učí o otroctve.
In the 1919,
1919
it allows women to vote.
povolí ženám voliť.
In the 1950s and 60s,
A v 50 60 rokoch
what happens?
sa čo deje?
What movement occurs here in the United States?
Aké hnutie prichádza do Spojených štátov?
The civil rights movement.
Hnutie občianskych práv,
It ends segregation.
ktoré skončilo
In the
segregáciu
1970s,
v 70 rokoch.
what movement do you have?
Aké máme hnutie?
I think the women's right movement.
Hnutie za práva žien.
The United States is growing just as God's church was growing.
Spojené štáty rastú tak, ako rastie aj Božia cirkev.
Always to understand better the principles of God.
Mali lepšie rozumieť Božím princípom.
And there's this quote from Ellen White. I'm sure everyone is familiar with it. It comes from Christ's object lessons.
Je tu aj citát od Ellen Whiteovej, som si istá, že to všetci poznáte.
She describes a plant and how it grows.
Popisuje, ako rastie rastlinka.
And what does she say?
A čo hovorí?
The plant must grow,
Tá rastlinka musí rásť,
or
alebo
if that plant doesn't grow, what does it do?
ak neporastie, čo spraví?
It will die.
Zomrie.
So Adventism, that's an application. Adventism
Adventizmus v
or the United
aplikácii
States
alebo Spojené štáty
has to grow,
musia rásť,
or what will happen?
alebo sa čo stane?
It will die.
Zomrú.
Is Adventism dying?
Zomiera adventizmus?
Yes.
Áno.
Is the United States dying?
Zomierajú Spojené štáty?
Is it dying? Is the United States? The United States is dying.
Zomierajú.
The horns are being broken. So when it dies,
Keď zomrú,
when the United States dies, that means it must have stopped growing.
to znamená, ak zomrú, že prestali rásť.
When did the United States stop growing?
Kedy Spojené štáty prestali rásť?
What do you think?
Čo myslíte?
I suggest it was quite recently,
Bolo to nedávno,
2016.
2016.
Trump was elected,
Bol zvolený Trump
and the United States is doomed to die.
a Spojené štáty sú odsúdené na zánik.
In its lamb-like form,
V tej svojej forme baránka
and it will create the image of the papacy.
a vytvoria obraz pápežstva.
Where A.D. Jones says it's a copy,
Kde A.T. Jones hovorí, že je to kopia,
which is where church and states are united.
kde cirkev a štát sú spojení.
America was growing
Amerika rástla
on the principles of equality.
na princípoch rovnosti.
Every person is the same,
Každý človek je ten
has the
istý.
same rights,
Má rovnaké práva,
the same worth,
rovnakú hodnotu.
no matter what religion,
To je jedno, aké
Nationality,
náboženstva, národnosť,
race,
pohlavie
or gender.
alebo pohlavie.
It's always been growing
Vždy rástla Amerika.
till now.
Doteraz.
And I want to point one thing out.
Chcela som ešte jednu vec povedať.
The last point where United States was still growing
Posledný bod, kde Spojené štáty stále rástli,
was 2015.
bol 2015.
And what happened in 2015?
Čo sa vtedy stalo?
What did Obama do?
Čo urobil Obama?
Yes, almost. It was the law which allowed homosexuals to also get married.
Ustanovil zákon, ktorý povoloval, aby sa mohli brať
Which is
homosexuáli.
just the same principle.
To je ten istý princíp.
I'm just taking a couple minutes to finish this thought
Dokončím túto myšlienku.
because I had this conversation the other day with a brother.
Mala som konverzáciu s jedným bratom.
Why shouldn't these people who are homosexual, why can't they get married?
Títo ľudia, ktorí sú homosexuáli, prečo by sa nemohli zobrať?
Why?
Prečo?
Why do we have this in us that these people are so bad and so different?
Prečo to takto máme v nás, že tí ľudia sú takí zlí a odlišní?
It is the opinion of a church.
To je názor cirkvi.
Because the church says only a man and a woman should get married.
Cirkev hovorí, že len žena a muž by sa mali zobrať.
Obama saw correctly
Obama správne videl,
that these people need the same rights to be able to get married.
že títo ľudia musia mať rovnaké práva, aby sa mohli
Because
zobrať.
if they are not allowed to,
Ak im to nie je
and
dovolené
it keeps being put down,
a stále sú umlčovaní,
it actually introduces the morality of a church into the laws of the land.
zavádza sa morálka cirkvi do zákonov zeme.
It's a church-state relationship.
To je
And
cirkev a
this kind
štát.
of morality a state should not acknowledge.
Takúto morálku by štát nemal doznávať.
That's why I'm saying 2015,
Preto hovorím, že 2015
correctly,
správne
Obama realized this and he passed that law.
si toto Obama uvedomuje a
America was growing in its principles of equality and separation of church and state.
nechal prejsť tomuto zákonu. Amerika rastie na svojich princípoch, rastla na
Since
princípoch
2016,
rovnosti,
it stopped growing
ale od 2016 prestala rásť
and now it's dying.
a už zomiera.
And we know this death
A vieme, že táto smrť
will occur when the ship is being wrecked
sa objaví, keď stroskotá tá loď
at the Sunday law,
pri nedeľnom zákone.
where America is no longer a lamb,
Kedy Amerika už nie je baránok,
but a dragon.
ale drak.
And it will speak like a
A
dragon.
bude hovoriť ako drak.
So this concluded we'll continue. Oh, I think I have 2 more presentations.
Ešte tuším, máme 2
I was
prezentácie.
afraid that I won't have enough to say for this camp meeting, and now I don't have enough slots.
Bála som sa, že nebudem mať čo hovoriť a už vidím, že mi bude chýbať aj miesto.
But let's pray and we'll continue on Sunday.
Budeme pokračovať v nedeľu.
Dear Father in heaven,
Drahý nebeský Oče,
we thank you for these days.
ďakujeme Ti za tieto dni.
Lord, where your truth is being revealed
Tvoja pravda sa zjavuje,
as it is in Jesus.
ako je v Ježišovi.
We see the parables, we see the lines.
Vidíme podobenstva, línie,
Lord, we see also the principles
vidíme princípy,
that we are not to exalt ourselves over other people.
že nemáme sa vyvyšovať na druhých ľudí.
We're equal.
Sme všetci rovní.
It's just our job
Je naša úloha
as a professed church,
ako
the
Tvoja
professed church
cirkev
of God,
Božia
to be an example to the world
byť príkladom svetu
by living the principles
a tým, že budeme žiť tieto
that we
princípy.
do not see any color or race
Že nevidíme
or gender.
rasu alebo
That for us,
pohlavie,
we're all equal in your sight.
ale že všetci sú rovní v Tvojich očiach.
We thank you for the sacrifice of your Son.
Ďakujeme Ti za obet Tvojho syna
And we ask you that we can be this light to the world as you ask us to be.
A prosíme ťa, aby sme mohli byť svetlom svetu, ako to od nás žiadaš.
In Jesus' name we thank you.
V mene Ježiša ti ďakujeme.
Amen.
Amen.